Hey guys, Dark Humility here. Today we have yet another Season 8 Closed Beta Project Diablo 2 special. From the lands of fixing open wounds, they have fixed it. It no longer caps, and that means that you can get some pretty solid damage on it. No longer do you have to depend on ultra strong weapons any longer to do your bidding with any of the Barbarian skills. We're going to show it off though on arguably probably the best approach for open wounds, which is double throw, which stacks it up on as many monsters as fast as it possibly can. Leap is also another very solid approach, which I also just recently tried, so I can tell you that one will also work just fine. So what we're going to do, of course, is going to go over the gear, the skills, and the stats, and then we're going to demo it real quick. Of course, you're free to critique my build as much as you want, but I think I really like this particular approach, and you can see how it works. Keep in mind that not every item needs to have open wounds, so you can also just add regular high damage items such as crafted weapons, fortitude instead of 2 throws, such as the one sitting here. But ultimately, this is kind of to show the power of open wounds, so we don't want to rely too much on high ED items of any kind. So we just kind of want to show you guys what open wounds is really capable of. That's it. That's the total. Well, we're going to show you guys with the Vigor Aura Mercenary with Might and Fanaticism, though. So we are stacking some damage. This Mercenary will also give us a little bit of fire damage and AR from that. Going to have the... What's my chance of open wounds? 158, way too high. It's not fun. Someone asked that. Alright, so as you can see, open wounds, gores, Drax, open wounds, 2 throw, open wounds with open wounds jewels, Cham, and then open wounds. 5 to masteries, so this is the key. Masteries give you bonus open wounds from the skill called Deep Wounds. The Barbarian's really the only class that can really get enough of this to actually make a meaningful impact on your damage. I would say that's maybe not totally true though. You can maybe make like a Thorin's Blade proc Paladin that also procs this open wounds, and you can still get like 2,000 of it, which would be kind of interesting. Just for an idea for a meme approach if you want. That would still do something. Wouldn't be great, but you can definitely try it out if you want. I'd say Paladin Thorns with open wounds is probably the only other thing I'd probably even attempt, because otherwise you're not going to do enough damage without this skill. But anyway, obviously Lacerators, open wounds each. They also proc Amp, and Amp, yes, it does. It is affected by negative enemy phys res. Yes, open wounds is also procced by things like Blade Shield from the new armor Innocence, which you can use on the Elite version. You also can get Atma's Scarab on the Elite version as well for reliable amp, which also has open wounds on it. This is an item that doesn't have open wounds, but you could get more if you put Atma's on it. You can see though there's just plenty of open wounds. Measuresmith's Reaver Ariox works pretty well on Leap from what I could see. And then you're going to have like Mastery GCs because you want as much open wounds as possible. This is mostly to highlight the power of open wounds here once again. Gonna max that deep wounds though. Since we're throwing, max the throwing mastery. It's very effective. It's good stuff. You can also max out Grim Ward, which is a synergy for deep wounds. And then you're gonna put all the rest of your points into double throw and frenzy, which is a synergy for double throw, but also helps us out with moving faster as we're using double throw. And that should get you what you want. You could also get a couple of extra plus skills with Battle Command, but I don't think that's as effective. And then that would make the deep wounds number go higher. As you can see here though, we have 5,000 open wounds. I was able to get like 5,400 with Leap, but like I said, Leap doesn't stack it up, so it has a stacking system, which makes double throw stack it up insanely effectively. You'll notice though that neither one of these weapons does an insane amount of throw damage by itself, and that our base damage here is not very impressive for double throw, which can easily get 15 to 20k with the right weapons. So this is just to show just how powerful open wounds is. Once again, just to show there's no funny business going on here. There you go. You check out the stats for yourself. All the stats. Fun stuff. Get the natural res. Okay. I think we showed it all off. Let's begin. It's 5k. Yeah, it's 5k per second times 3, so it can stack pretty effectively. I don't think it's broken, but what's interesting is that it's actually doing a ton of damage. And it's a lot more budget than getting super strong weapons in a lot of cases, so it might not be quite as strong as getting super strong weapons, but it's like 20 times more budget. So this is definitely a viable approach if you're looking for something that will definitely show the budget, the power of the budget here. But anyway, we can try something like this that has a lot of density, so you can see it on a lot of monsters. Throw works really well in narrow maps, narrow passageways. So you can see here just how much damage it does against a monster with amp. Look at the monster's melt. It's like rabies, but from afar, as my chat has said. Papa Chris, 97. He's coming in hot. What's up, man? Were you also testing PD2? Have you seen the power of open wounds? This is convincing, I think, for single targets too. And you can use Battle Cry and Grimoire to further amplify the damage. As you can see, Grimoire does help a little bit if you're having trouble killing anything. You do have max Grimoire on this build. Something you can do. But I don't have a lot of damage and it's killing things very effectively. Double Throw itself is also somewhat buffed, which is good because it kind of got a little weak last. I wouldn't say it was too weak, but it was weak considering the level of weapons we tested with last season. Coming in hot. Nope. What were you testing, man? What were you testing? Thank you so much for launching a Xana attack on the stream chat. Give a follow to Papa Chris. He's a beast. Look how strong it is now, though. I would say Double Throw is looking very effective again. Not just with open wounds either. Oh, okay, okay. Oh, I see. So you're testing, like leveling strats and things like that. Okay, okay. Well, if you ever want to know what the standouts are, I'm going to post them on my YouTube most likely, obviously, pretty soon. And then, you know, we have the report off the tier list and infographic. And then... I don't know, this is pretty impressive stuff, though. This is pretty good. Let me go kill Avanos with this here. Wow, look how fast he's just dying to, like, damage over time. It's really high damage. How geared are we?
I can already tell that I'll be your best friend in this.
You know, we got all the open wounds gear that we could possibly want. Geared, yeah, of course. Gotta see how these changes affect the late game builds, obviously. I mean, it's not all about the early game. But I know that you've gotten a lot more into like speedrunning lately, so you're starting to turn into one of those more of the early game, you know. How's Thobarb? Good. You can also stack up movement speed here. You know what's interesting though? So, Papa Chris, this build that uses open wounds is so much cheaper than going like for a super insane craft or something like that. And it still does a lot of damage. I'm gonna start Assassin this season, Popper Chris. I'm starting Assassin. Mario Glue, thank you so much for the follow. Welcome to the Cult of Xana Day. If you guys don't know who I am Dark Humility. I make a lot of guides, a lot of video guides, and make a lot of demos for Project Diablo 2. I do a lot of work advertising this mod to the general populace and helping people get inspired for builds. I also do, of course, testing during every closed beta. It helps out the devs as well and provide a lot of feedback. Things that I think can be improved. Things that I think are maybe not in the best possible place they could be. You know, things like that. Ah, Claws of Thunder. Exclamation S8 tier list if you want to see kind of definitely a big work in progress. Don't worry about the infographic yet, it hasn't been modified at all. So that's totally inaccurate, but the late game tier list is being worked on somewhat. And we'll get you something that's fairly accurate depiction of what's going on. That's the idea. Just in case you're one of those meta people that likes to know what you're getting into. Or if you just want a challenge build and you want something cool, you can see on that list there a neat build you maybe never thought of to do before, and then you can kind of see how strong it is and you can go with that. At least for mapping. So remember, that's just for mapping. You can play almost any build in the game in PD2 and it'll be good, or at least decent at something. Some are just purely for memes, but you know how it is. Absolutely. Can they tell them to make Frost Nova great again? Frost Nova is great. What are you talking about? That shit destroys. I tested that last season and they haven't changed it. Yeah, everyone wants everything to be OP again. I like OP too as much as the next person, but you know, you can't have the same builds OP, you know, all the time. You just want the broken ass shit, you know. I see you, bro. I see you. You know, Frost Nova was broken in Season 1 too, and no one knew about it. I played it in Season 1 a lot. And it destroyed. People want Season 3 double throwback too, I'm sure. Just play Season 8 Corpse Explosion, Popper Chris, and you won't. Just thank me later. Not joking. Extremely good. It is broken. Absolutely broken. Beyond words. Oh yeah. Yeah, it's probably the best build overall. It might be. It'll be like top 3. No, Corpse Explosion's no joke, man, if you play it right. I'm gonna make a video for how to play it too, so you can see exactly how it's done. It's pretty dumb. Kind of Zod rune farming chaos. What? You're wasting your RNG, man. You're wasting it. You're wasting it. Oh no. Gotta get that battle cry down sometimes, you know? There you go. Anyway, as you can see, this build is a beastly build. Crush it in Season 8. Have fun with even the budget open wounds. There's plenty of options for weapons. Plenty of options for how to play it. I do think leap and throw will overall be the best approaches. But you could also do whirlwind as well, which is something I'm going to be trying next. You guys, though, see you guys in the next installment.